尊敬的各位元首、政府首脑、
heads of state and government,
组织负责人、
heads of international organizations, ministers,
尊敬的各位博鳌亚洲论坛
incumbent
现任
and
和后任理事
incoming members of the board of directors of the Boao Forum for Asia, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen,
朋友们，
friends.
中春时节的海南，
Hainan today greets us with green mountains, blue ocean, gentle breeze, and warm
在这个
sunshine.
美好的季节里，
In this beautiful season of spring,
汇聚一堂，
we gather here
出席博鳌亚洲
for the
论
Boao
坛
Forum for Asia
2018
Annual Conference
年会。
2018.
海南啊，有一首民歌唱
Here I want to quote the lyrics of a Hainan folk song.
民歌啊，久久不见，久久
It has
见。
been a long time since we last met, and I hope it will be a long time before we have to depart.
大家就是这样，今天啊，有机会在此同各
So,
位新老
Such a gathering of friends today, both old and new, is always a pleasant occasion, and I'm truly delighted.
首先，我谨代表中国政府
Let me begin by extending, on behalf of the Chinese government and people, and in my own name, sincere welcome to all the distinguished guests attending the forum, and also warm congratulations to the opening of the conference.
博鳌亚洲论坛成立
Since its inception, with a focus on Asia and a global perspective,
在凝聚
the Boao Forum for Asia has gone a long way to build consensus in Asia, encourage cooperation, promote economic globalization, and advance the building of a community with a shared future for mankind. With its active discussions and many valuable Boao proposals,
做出了积极的贡献。
it has made great contribution.
今年是论坛理事会
This year, the Boao Forum for Asia has just had a major change of its board of directors. So I wish to take this opportunity to
各位理事表示衷心的
express our
感谢
heartfelt thanks to the outgoing members,
新当
and I
选的
extend
各位理事
our warm
表
congratulations
示热烈的
to the
祝
new
贺
ones. The theme of this year's conference is an open and innovative Asia for a world of greater prosperity.
顺应时代潮
It is
流
in line with the trend of the times and reflects the expectation of all parties.
相信各位嘉
I'm
宾和各
sure
界人士
that
将畅所欲
Your
言，
engaging discussions here will produce many insightful views.
女士们、先生们，
Ladies and gentlemen, friends,
历史总是在
there are
一些特
certain
殊的年
historic
份
occasions
给人们
that
以
empower us
积蓄
with the
智慧
wisdom and strength
继续
to move
前行的
forward.
力量。2018年是中国改
The
革
year
开放40周
2018
年，
marks the 40th anniversary of China's reform and opening up,
与此地啊
and also for the host of our forum,
建设
Hainan
半特
Province.
区，
This year marks the 30th anniversary of the establishment of the province
海南省
and
可谓
special
是
economic zone of Hainan.
因改革开放而生，因
It was
改革开
born
放而
in
兴
the process of opening up and reform, and it flourished in that process.
从一个较为封
It
闭
is reform
落
and
后的
opening up that has given life and prosperity to Hainan, that has turned it from the once backward and remote island into one of China's most open and
经
dynamic
济社会
regions,
发展取得
and that has
巨大
enabled Hainan to achieve phenomenal social and
一
economic
滴
growth.
水可以反映
Just
出
like the radiance of the
太阳
sun
的
is
光辉
reflected by
一
a
个地
drop
方
of
可以
water,
体现
the development of a country may be epitomized by an
海南
individual
发展
region.
是中国40年
Hainan
改革开
stands
放
as an important
一个重要的
historical
历史
witness
见证。
to China's reform and opening up over the past 4 decades.
1978年
In
邓小
1978,
平先生倡
thanks
导
to the initiative of Mr. Deng Xiaoping,
以中共11届三中
the
全会为
third
标
plenary
志，
session of the 11th CPC Central Committee marked the beginning of China's historic journey of reform and opening up.
从农村到
Our
城市
endeavor started from rural areas to cities, from pilot programs to nationwide projects, and from economic restructuring to the comprehensive deepening
40
of
年
reform.
众志成城，
Reform and
40
opening
年
up over the
砥砺
past
奋
four
进
decades has
40
brought
年
tremendous
春风
benefits
化
to the Chinese people.
中国人民用双手书
With
写了国
united
家
and determined
和民
efforts,
族发
the
展
Chinese
的
people have
壮丽
added a
史诗
glorious chapter to the development epic of the country and the nation.
40年来，
Over the last
中国人民
four
始终
decades,
艰
the
苦
Chinese
奋
people
斗，
have significantly unleashed and enhanced
极大解放和发展了中国社会主义
productivity in China through hard work with an unyielding
国人
spirit.
讲天道酬勤，
Heaven rewards those who work hard, and flowers in spring come
中
to
国人民
fruition in
坚
autumn.
持聚精会神搞
The
建
focused
设，
endeavor in national
坚持
development
改革
and the
开放
Chinese
不
people's
动摇，
unwavering commitment to reform
持
and
之以
opening up
恒，锲而不
have
舍，
brought
推动中国发生了翻
tremendous
天
changes
覆地的变化。
to the country.
今天，中国已经成为世界
China
第
has
二大
grown into the world's second largest
第
economy,
一大工业国，
the largest industrial producer,
第一大货物贸易国，
the largest trader of goods,
第一大外汇储
and
备国。
the holder of the largest foreign exchange
40
reserves.
年来，
Over the past
按照可
40
比
years,
价格计算，中国国内生产总
China's
值
GDP
年均
has
增
averaged
长
an annual growth rate
9.5%。
of around 9.5% in comparable prices.
中国对外贸易
And
额
China's foreign trade
按美元计算，
in US dollar
年均增长
has registered an annual
14.5%。
growth of 14.5%.
中国人民生活
The Chinese
从
people
短缺
have emerged from a life of shortages and
从贫
poverty
困到
and
小康，
are now enjoying abundant
现行
supply
联合
and
国
a
标准下
moderately
的
prosperous
7亿
life.
多贫困人口
According to
能够
current
脱
UN
贫
standards, more than 700 million Chinese people have been lifted out of poverty, accounting for more than 70% of the global total over the same period.
40年来，
Over the last 4 decades,
始
the
终
Chinese people
上下求索，
have blazed
锐意进取，
with
开辟了
determined exploration with a pioneering spirit,
社会主义道
a
路。
path of socialism with Chinese
中国人
characteristics.
民坚持立足国
The
情，
Chinese people have both a keen awareness of national realities and a global
既
vision.
强调独立自主、
We
自力
champion
更生，
independence and self-reliance
又注重
while
对外开放，
embracing openness and win-win cooperation.
既坚持社会主义制
We
度，
uphold the socialist
又坚
system
持
while sticking to the
市场经济改革方向，
direction of reform to develop the socialist market economy.
既摸着石头过河，
As we cross the river by
又
filling
加
the
强
stones,
顶层设
we
计，
have also strengthened the top-level planning.
不断的研究新情
We
况
have，studied new circumstances, we have addressed new problems as they emerge, and we have summed up experience
成功
accordingly.
开辟出一条中
With
国
all
特
that,
色
we have successfully blazed a path of socialism with
中
Chinese
国人民的
characteristics.
成功实践，
The successful practice of the Chinese people is a proof
通向现代化
that there
的
is
道路。
more than one path leading to modernization.
只要找准正确方向，
With the right direction and with unremitting efforts,
条条大
all
路
roads
通
will
罗马。
take us to Rome.
40年来，
Over the
中
last
国人
4
民始终与
decades,
时俱进，
the
一往无
Chinese
前
people have been forging ahead and demonstrated the strength of the nation through keeping pace with the progress of the times. Ours is a truth-seeking nation with an open mind. Our efforts to open up our minds have advanced side by side with our endeavor of reform and opening up. Our search for new ideas and experimental practices have been mutually reinforcing. Such is the great strength of a guiding vision. Ours is a nation that has courageously engaged in self-revolution and self-reform, constantly made improvements to the system of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and kept overcoming institutional and systematic obstacles to development. Such is the great strength of institutional guarantee. Ours is an enterprising and pioneering nation with unprecedented motivation, initiative, and creativity. Such is the great strength of the 1.3 billion Chinese people driving history forward as masters of their nation and real heroes. Over the last 4 decades, the Chinese people have always embraced the world with an open arms and actively contributed our share to the world. Reform and opening up is a great process that has seen China and the world achieve development and progress together. The Chinese people have made opening up a fundamental national policy. We have pursued development with an open door and accomplished a great transition from seclusion and semi-seclusion to all-round openness. In this process, China has lived up to its responsibility as a major country, from bringing in to going global, from WTO accession to the Belt and Road Initiative. China has made significant contribution to mitigating the Asian financial crisis and the global financial crisis. In recent years, contributing over 30% of global growth, China has become a key anchor and driver for the world economy, and has become a positive force in advancing the noble cause of global peace and development. Today, the Chinese people can say with great pride that reform and opening up, China's second revolution, if you like, has not only profoundly changed the country, but also greatly influenced the world as a whole. An ancient Chinese classic teaches that heaven has its own law, and those who embrace it will prosper. China's reform and opening up meets its people's aspiration for development, innovation, and a better life. It also meets the global trend toward development, cooperation, and peace. As such, China's reform and opening up can and will be a great success. 4 decades of reform and opening up has given us many valuable inspirations. The most important one is that for any country or any nation to achieve rejuvenation, they must follow the logic of history and the trend of the times in their pursuit of progress and development. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the world is undergoing a new round of major development, great change, and profound readjustment. Mankind still faces many instabilities and uncertainties. The new round of technological and industrial revolution brings fresh opportunities and also presents unprecedented challenges. In some countries and regions, people are still living in the shadow of war and conflict. Too many people, including the old, women, and children, are still suffering from hunger and poverty. Climate change and major communicable diseases remain formidable challenges. Openness versus isolation and progress versus retrogression, humanity has a major choice to make. In this complex and changing world, where are we headed? And where is the future of Asia? To answer these fundamental questions of our time, we must not let our vision be blocked by floating clouds. Instead, we must dispel the clouds to see the sun, as we say in Chinese, so as to have a keen grasp of the law of history and the trend of the times. We live at a time with an overwhelming trend toward peace and cooperation. In a world aspiring for peace and development, the Cold War mentality and zero-sum mentality look even more out of place. Putting oneself on a pedestal or trying to immune oneself from adverse developments will get nowhere. Only peaceful development and cooperation can truly bring win-win or all-win results. We live at a time with an overwhelming trend toward openness and connectivity. Human history shows that openness leads to progress, while seclusion leaves one behind. The world has already become a global village with our interests intertwined and our economic and social progress interconnected. To promote common prosperity and development in today's world, we have no choice but to pursue greater connectivity and integrated development. We also live at a time with an overwhelming trend toward reform and innovation. A Chinese philosopher recognized as early as over 2,500 years ago that one doesn't have to follow a beaten path if he wishes to benefit the people, and one doesn't have to observe old conventions if he wishes to get things done. Reform and innovation are the fundamental driving force of human progress. Those who reject them will be left behind and assigned to the dustbin of history. To follow the trend of our times and advance the well-being of all people, I proposed the initiative to build a community with a shared future for mankind, and I had in-depth discussions with various parties. I'm glad to see that this proposal has been welcomed and endorsed by a growing number of countries and their peoples. It has also been written into important UN documents. I hope that people around the world will work together toward this community with a shared future for mankind and make Asia and the world peaceful, tranquil, prosperous, open, and beautiful. With the future in mind, we need to treat each other with respect and as equals. We should uphold the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence, respect the social system and development path independently chosen by each country, respect each other's core interests and major concerns, and follow a new approach to state relations featuring dialogue rather than confrontation and partnership instead of alliance. We must refrain from seeking dominance and reject the zero-sum game. We must refrain from beggar thy neighbor and reject power politics or hegemony while the strong bullying the weak. Instead, we must properly manage differences and work together for enduring peace.
With the future in mind, we need to promote dialogue and share responsibility. We should act on the vision of common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security, and firmly uphold the international order and the system underpinned by the purposes and principles of the UN Charter. An integrated approach should be taken to counter traditional and non-traditional security challenges, and the coordination should be enhanced both bilaterally and multilaterally. We must ensure that various security mechanisms coordinate with each other in an inclusive and a complementary manner, rather than undercut each other. This will lead us to universal and common security. With the future in mind, we need to engage in cooperation for win-win results. We should stay committed to openness, connectivity, and mutual benefits, build an open global economy, and reinforce cooperation within the G20, APEC, and other multilateral frameworks. We should promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, support the multilateral trading system, and jointly foster new technologies, new industries, and new forms and models of business. This way, we will make economic globalization more open, inclusive, balanced, and beneficial to all. With the future in mind, we need to uphold inclusiveness and seek harmony without uniformity. We must strengthen bilateral and multilateral cooperation in culture, education, tourism, youth, media, health, poverty reduction, and other fields. We need to promote mutual learning among civilizations, as it will help us build bridges of friendship, drive social progress, and safeguard peace for the region and beyond. With the future in mind, we need to treat nature with respect and treasure our planet. It is important to have a vision of green, low-carbon, and sustainable development, and also respect, accommodate, and protect nature. We need to increase exchanges and cooperation, share experience, and jointly meet challenges in climate change, environmental protection, energy conservation, and emission reduction. We must pursue further progress along the path of sustainable development, featuring increased production, higher living standards, and healthy ecosystems, so that our future generations can enjoy blue skies, clear water, and lush mountains. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the 19th CPC National Congress held last October ushered socialism with Chinese characteristics into a new era and drew a blueprint for turning China into a great modern socialist country in all respects. This new era of socialism with Chinese characteristics marks a new chapter in China's rejuvenation, and also its effort for shared prosperity with the rest of the world. Each age and generation have their own challenges and missions. China has come a long way, but it has to overcome new challenges on its way ahead. In this new era, the Chinese nation will continue to improve itself through reform. We will stay committed to advancing reform in all respects and prevail over whatever challenges that may lie ahead. We will tackle long-standing problems with courage and resolve, and break the impediments of vested interests to see the reform through. The Chinese people will continue to take bold steps in innovation to boost development. Following the people-centered development philosophy and the new development vision, we will modernize our economic system, deepen supply-side structural reform, and implement at a faster pace the strategies of innovation-driven development, rural revitalization, and coordinated regional development. We will continue to work on targeted poverty alleviation and promote social equity and justice to give our people a greater sense of fulfillment, happiness, and security. The Chinese people will continue to increase openness and expand cooperation. We will stay committed to the strategy of opening up for win-win results. We will pay equal attention to bringing in and going global, and break new ground in opening China further through links running eastward and westward across land and overseas. We will adopt policies to promote high-standard liberalization and facilitation of trade and investment, and explore the opening of free trade ports with Chinese characteristics. The Chinese people will continue to work together with the rest of the world and make a greater contribution to humanity. China will stick to the path of peaceful development, actively pursue global partnerships, uphold multilateralism, and take an active part in reforming the global governance system. By doing so, we will be able to build a new type of international relations and promote a community with a shared future for mankind. No matter how much progress China has made in development, China will not threaten anyone else, attempt to overturn the existing international system, or seek spheres of influence. China will stay as determined as ever to build world peace, contribute to global prosperity, and uphold the international order. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, a comprehensive study of world development trajectories shows that economic globalization is an irreversible trend of our times. In line with this conclusion, I emphasized in my report to the 19th CPC National Congress that China will continue to adhere to its fundamental national policy of opening up and pursue development with its door wide open. I wish to make it clear to you all that China's door of opening up will not be closed and will only open even wider. What has happened proves that opening up was key to China's economic growth over the past 40 years. And in the same vein, high-quality development of China's economy in the future can only be achieved with greater openness. Opening up is a strategic decision made by China based on its need for development, as well as a concrete action taken by China to move economic globalization forward in a way that benefits people across the world. China will adopt the following major measures to pursue further opening. First, we will significantly broaden market access. A number of landmark measures are to be launched this year. On services, financial services in particular, important announcement was made on measures to raise foreign equity caps in the banking, securities, and insurance industries at the end of last year. We will ensure that these measures are materialized. At the same time, we will make more moves toward further opening, including accelerating the opening up of the insurance industry, easing restrictions on the establishment of foreign financial institutions in China, and expanding their business scope, and also opening up more areas of cooperation between Chinese and foreign financial markets. On manufacturing, we have basically opened up this sector, only with a small number of exceptions on automobiles, ships, and aircraft. Now, these industries are in a position to open up. Going forward, we will ease as soon as possible foreign equity restrictions in these industries, automobiles in particular. Second, we will create a more attractive investment environment. Investment environment is like air, and only fresh air attracts more investment from the outside. China relied mainly on providing favorable policies for foreign investors in the past, but now we will have to rely more on improving the investment environment. We will enhance alignment with international economic and trading rules, increase transparency, strengthen property right protection, uphold the rule of law, encourage competition, and oppose monopoly. In March this year, we established a host of new agencies, such as the State Administration for Market Regulation, as part of a major adjustment of government institutions. The purpose is to remove the systematic and institutional obstacles that prevent the market from playing a decisive role in resources allocation and enable the government to better play its role. In the first 6 months of this year, we will finish the revision of the negative list on foreign investment. And implement across the board the management system based on pre-establishment national treatment and negative list. Third, we will strengthen protection of intellectual property rights, or IPR. This is the centerpiece of the system for improving property rights protection, and it will also provide the biggest boost to enhancing the competitiveness of the Chinese economy. Stronger IPR protection is the requirement of foreign enterprises, and even more so of Chinese enterprises. This year, we are reinstituting the State Intellectual Property Office to strengthen the ranks of its officers, step up law enforcement, significantly raise the cost for offenders, and fully unlock the deterrent effect of relevant laws. We encourage normal technological exchanges and cooperation between Chinese and foreign enterprises and protect the lawful IPR owned by foreign enterprises in China. At the same time, we hope foreign governments will also improve protection of Chinese IPR. Fourth, we will take the initiative to expand imports. Domestic demand is the fundamental driving force for China's economic development, and it is an essential requirement for us to meet the people's ever-growing need for a better life. China does not seek trade surplus. We have a genuine desire to increase imports and achieve greater balance of international payments under the current account. This year, we will significantly lower the import tariffs for vehicles and also reduce import tariffs for some other products. We will work hard to import more products that are competitive and are needed by our people. We will seek faster progress toward joining the WTO government procurement agreement. We hope developed countries will stop imposing restrictions on normal and reasonable trade of high-tech products and relax export controls on such trade with China. This November, we will hold the first China International Import Expo in Shanghai. This is a major platform. It will be an annual event. It is not just another expo in an ordinary sense, but a major policy initiative and a commitment taken of our own accord to open up the Chinese market. Friends from around the world are welcome to participate in the expo. I wish to emphasize that with regard to all those major initiatives of opening up that I have just announced, we have every intention to translate them into reality sooner rather than later. We want the outcomes of our opening up efforts to deliver benefits as soon as possible to all enterprises and people in China and around the world. I am confident that with these efforts, China's financial sector will be much more competitive. Our capital market will continue to enjoy healthy development. The building of a system of modern industries will be accelerated. Our market environment will be greatly improved. And intellectual property rights will be effectively protected. In short, China will enter a new phase of opening up. Five years ago, I put forward the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI. Since then, more than 80 countries and international organizations have signed cooperation agreements with China. The BRI may be China's idea, but its opportunities and outcomes are going to benefit the world. China has no geopolitical calculations, seeks no exclusionary blocks, and imposes no business deals on others. It must be pointed out that as the BRI is a new initiative, it is perfectly natural for there to be different views. As long as the parties embrace the principle of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, we can surely enhance cooperation and resolve differences. This way, we can make the BRI the broadest platform for international cooperation in keeping with the trend of economic globalization and to the greater benefit of all our peoples. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, as a Chinese saying goes, a mountain is formed by accumulation of earth, and an ocean is formed by accumulation of water. Happiness and a bright future will not appear automatically. Success only favors those with courage and perseverance. Let us dedicate ourselves to openness and win-win outcomes, be brave to change and break new ground, and keep striving for a community with a shared future for mankind and a better tomorrow for Asia and the world. In closing, I wish this BFA annual conference a complete success. Thank you.